What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and I'm not sure if there's anything more satisfying than listening to the corporate butt-kissers out there throwing a fit because the games that they like, games like Concord, are failing miserably. I try not to laugh too hard at these idiots, but I just can't help myself. The tiny collection of people out there who actually bought the failure that is Concord were recently asked why they haven't jumped over to Marvel Rivals, and they threw a little fit, whining about how it's unfair that Concord died and that Marvel Rivals gets to live. They despise the fact that games like Marvel Rivals, where the characters in the Marvel Universe are finally unleashed and allowed to look like themselves, which gives gamers the ability to actually feel immersed in their world, but games like Marvel Rivals are kicking ass in a big way. They just can't understand why nobody wanted to play a game with characters that look like this.
You're ugly!
Nobody wants characters like that, but meanwhile, as you can see, Marvel Rivals is just rubbing it in the faces of these jackasses now. I mean, look at the footage here of the alternate outfit for Susan Storm, but the modern audience thinks this stuff is disgusting and terrible. There's a reason Concord went down after 2 weeks, while Marvel Rivals just announced a week or two ago that they now have 20 million players worldwide. The modern audience that Concord chased after is the tiny fraction of gamers who don't mind political messaging in their games. But as you can see here, the founder and CEO of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, was actually able to correctly identify why Rivals is such a massively successful title. Ex-user Pirate Nation posted a screenshot of the massive amount of players playing Rivals on Steam, asking what went so right. And Sweeney replied simply, fun.
Bingo.
That's it right there. Gamers don't ask for much. We just don't want to be preached at. We really only want one thing from these studios.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
Don't fuck it up!
Alright me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to refer to it as these days. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. But alright, let's take a look at what was said by these Concord players freaking out about Marvel Rivals being successful, and how they just can't wrap their little heads around the idea that Concord was rejected completely. The whole thing is just wonderfully comical, and I personally need that shit injected directly into my veins. So let's read about it here from this Substack article from the Fandom Pulse, link in the description. Former Concord players not happy with Marvel Rivals' success. Why did Concord have to die and Marvel Rivals gets to live? I get the feeling that we're dealing with actual communists here. You know, people who don't understand basic market economics. It just never occurs to them that they represent a tiny little fraction of the gaming community, and that they don't have large enough numbers to support a major AAA game like Concord. No, instead of admitting that, they just want to act like the world is out to get them, and that Concord was unfairly pulled from the market. But anyways, let's read. On the Concord Games subreddit, a question was asked whether or not Concord fans have tried Marvel Rivals, and what their first impressions were. The top-ranked response currently reads, "It plays nothing like Concord. I personally don't like the movement or shooting at all, and don't get all the hype and praise that it's getting. If you want similar gameplay to Concord, Destiny 2 is your best bet, but the PvP in that game is basically unplayable unfortunately, but the PvE is still good." Another replied, "I feel like the majority of the hype/praise that it's getting is just because it's one of the first good online Marvel games to come out in this entire period of MCU box office domination, which is waning, and a lot of people who are unhappy with Overwatch trying to signal boost a competitor. The game itself feels pretty darn unpolished and unbalanced compared to Overwatch and even Concord." These people just live in a delusional state, don't they? Concord was famously unpolished. The game looked like absolute dog shit. And if that was the best work that Firewalk Studios could muster, if that is what a polished game looks like from them, then it's a good thing that they've closed down before they can waste even more hundreds of millions of dollars. And then here's where we get to the funny part. This person whined, "Why did Concord have to die and Marvel Rivals gets to live? It's not as fun as Concord by a long shot. I hate this timeline." Well, welcome to the tiny minority, my dude. We have finally found a member of the mythical modern audience. Those enlightened, progressive souls who never saw a woke idea that they disagreed with, and who also play video games, and they are just as whiny and insufferable and useless in discussions like this as you'd imagine, but they sure are fun to laugh at. Anyhow, underneath that there, you can see someone saying that charging $40 for Concord was a big misstep, and the dude is definitely correct, though the person replying to him is also correct, saying being free wouldn't save the game, buddy, and Marvel Rivals isn't having success because it's free. And once again, I'm going to invoke the tweet from Tim Sweeney to settle the argument that you can see percolating there. The founder and CEO of Epic Games knows exactly what made Marvel Rivals a success. One word: fun. You can just pick up and play the game for 10 minutes or 10 hours. It's just a good time. But Concord couldn't do something as simple as that because of doofuses like this. You remember the Professor, don't you? The lead dev for Concord, who required the entire team of developers to refer to them as the Professor. Yeah, this clown was instrumental in ensuring that Concord had no soul, and that it was less of a game and more of a series of ideological statements. By all accounts, the entire team at Firewalk felt like they had to walk on eggshells all the time around this person. It was the sort of situation that you'll often see when the HR department has an outsized role in the formulation of a team. You know the kind of place that I'm talking about here, where everybody has HR on speed dial and you can't say anything without the fear of it being called a microaggression. Well, now that Firewalk Studios is closed down, it looks like the Professor, as you can see from Smash JT's tweet here, but the Professor is looking for work, specifically senior positions in gameplay design, etc. Can you imagine being the team lead on what has to be going down as the biggest flop of all time in the gaming industry, and just a few months later going out and asking for a senior position at a new company? I can't wait to find out where this person gets hired, because by default, anyone stupid enough to hire the Professor is going to be making games that I get to laugh at. I can guarantee you, though, that wherever this dingleberry ends up, it won't be working on Marvel Rivals. I get the feeling that game is going to remain a powerhouse for a while now, but I'm going to leave it there. Drop your mockery of Concord, the Professor, and the modern audience into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.